Welcome back into our Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics Game of the Week right here on the Coca-Cola Red Zone. In case you are just getting in the car joining us, Rhea County got the 16-0 shutout victory over Walker Valley here at Bill Horton Field. And Justin Sims, we got a couple of special guests joining us up here for this first part of Red Zone Overtime, and that is Caleb Carr and Chauncey Odum, two of the senior leaders here for the Rhea County Golden Eagles. And gentlemen, we want to thank you both for taking the time to join us. Congrats on the win. And how are we doing this evening?
Good.
Doing good.
So I guess just give us your overall thoughts. Obviously, it was a big game, region game, obviously, and as everybody, we've mentioned this the whole time, Coach Harvey was the defensive coordinator at Walker Valley for the last 5 years. He's y'all's head coach now, and to come out there and, of course, a defensive guy like Harvey, it's got to be a special thing to get a shutout victory, but the offense definitely made some plays, and special teams came into play as well. So all three phases definitely contributed for your team tonight.
Yeah, I feel like difficult with the weather, battling the weather all week and finding out decision will be made if we would play our first district game on a Friday with the last one being canceled. So when we got the news that we were going to play, I told the guys, it's going to be a big one for Coach Harvey, his family, the community, his career, and overall just getting a win for him.
And Caleb, just kind of, let's throw that to you as well. Chauncey mentioned, preparing for the wet weather as a quarterback. Anything that you do, like for a routine to get you ready for a night like this, like we had tonight?
Yeah, for sure. So all week we dealt with wet footballs. We just spray them off with the water, and then we go out there. Definitely worked on getting snaps and throws.
Yeah, needed all three phases, like you said. We had blocked extra point, missed field goal, a muff kickoff turned into points for you guys, and then the long field goal, obviously. So just kind of talk about that third phase. Obviously, y'all aren't kicking them or nothing, but just talk about how important special teams can be, especially a game like tonight.
I mean, the energy was there. We knew what we had to do for Coach Harvey and what it meant. So doing what we were coached to do wins ball games most part.
It makes it easier on the quarterback too when you get good field positions out of the five, doesn't it, Caleb?
Yeah, definitely.
And we got a couple position players here. We're going to get a little bit off the game tonight. You running back, linebacker. Do you prefer offense versus defense?
Wherever they pit me is
or
where I'm going to go.
Baseball. What's the sport?
I like football. Baseball's grown on me here recently. It just wherever it's going to end up is where we're going to end up.
And so you guys are first kind of place in the region. Big game next week with McMahon. What's it going to take next week for you guys to get a win on the road?
Just discipline, doing what we have to be, coach, watching film, paying attention to the little small things that can lead to big things, like always.
Hey, Caleb, talk about that as a quarterback. Everybody knows kind of McMahon County, how physical they are. You guys deal with them every single year being in the region. Kind of talk about just what you guys have to plan for to go up against a very tough physical like team in McMahon County.
I think teams like that, we just got to attack them like how we've been attacking, stick to what we're known for, and it'll work out.
So, you guys, we were talking before we got on here, just we mentioned this last week when we talked to our guest at Boyd Buchanan, and the College Football 25 game is out. You guys, Chauncey, you play that game, right? Who's your team and what's your go-to play?
I've been bouncing between Bama and Tennessee, playing with guys that I know on each side, so just running the ball, being a running back, just running the ball is my favorite right now.
Yeah.
Caleb, how about you? Are you a College Football 25 guy?
Nope.
Not so much?
Yeah, Tom.
I'm not either.
Yeah, well, maybe those are the two guys to challenge, and we'll challenge you guys to a game there. But I think Kelly would find a way to put some points on the board. Talk about the game plan this week. As from a quarterback, when you got this weather, obviously his emphasis is going to be like, they're probably going to take the ball out of my hand, I'm going to hand it off. Like, what's your mindset coming to a game like this as quarterback?
Yeah, with the weather like this, we prepping all week, run the ball. Didn't expect to get a whole lot of throws tonight, but
made them count.
Yeah. Chauncey, it's your kind of game, obviously. You're going to get the ball with the conditions they are, right?
Yeah, our position coach, we nicknamed him CMG Roy, Coach Guthrie. He did a great job. He preaches protect the football, see the gap, see it through, trust the O-line. Our O-line's been unbelievable this year. We call them the Hog Barn crew. They do a good job. So
I like it.
Going into
the Hog
game,
Barn crew. Come on now, I love that.
we put a lot of trust in them, and we get feedback in between the huddle. So we identify a lot of things before we get to the sideline, and the coaches get into the details of what we got to do to move on to the next play.
Well, gentlemen, we want to thank you both for coming up here and hanging out. I know the game ended a little while ago, but definitely appreciate both of you coming up here and joining us and kind of giving us your perspective on the big win tonight. And it was homecoming night here at Rhea County High School. Just kind of talk about what you guys do for fun. Like let's just say, hey, the pads are off, game's over. What do y'all do for fun to unwind after a Friday night football game like this?
In this small town, there's really nothing else to do. We all gather at Sonic or somewhere.
There you go.
A small town thing. So after this, we're gonna see where it's gonna lead us to tonight. Homecoming getting canceled, so it's kind of a bummer, senior season, but we look forward to it.
Well, you got a big win on homecoming night here on the field for sure. Well, guys, we appreciate you taking the time to come up here and join us, and good luck the rest of the way. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you having us.
Well, Justin Sims. Again, definitely a big win for Rhea County, 16-0 victory over Walker Valley, and like we mentioned, for Coach Taylor Harvey, first time. That was the big storyline, obviously coming into this game, but it was those guys right there, that were having to execute the plays that were called, and they executed just a little bit better than Walker Valley tonight.
Yeah, you got Coach Harvey will be tactful if we ask him, but this has to it's got to be special to knock off Coach Akins, and it has to be double special to know that the first time you do it, you shut him out. I think that's going to be. Obviously they've got a great friendship and a great relationship, but I think that'll be something that they will hold against each other for 365 days, and we look forward to a long rivalry here between the two. Well,
and that's kind of one thing, we've noticed in this region, these head coaches get along, whether it's, Coach Cagle in Midland County, Coach Nancy's Hamilton, and now with Coach Harvey at Rhea County and Coach Akins at Walker Valley, you can just tell that these guys get along, and that's a good thing to see, right? They want the victory over each other no matter what. It's good to see just the mutual respect between these coaches and the programs. So, but we're going to throw it back to you guys here. We're going to get Coach Taylor Harvey suited up, ready to go here, going into the next break. But before we do that, I will go ahead and tell you about our friends over at 12 Point Logistics. Based right down the road here, Dayton, Tennessee. 12 Point Logistics and Transportation is your trusted partner for comprehensive freight solutions. Whether you're looking for expert transportation management, seamless brokerage services, or specialized big and bulky final mile deliveries, they've got you covered. Their white glove delivery service includes professional installation and warehousing options tailored to meet your needs. 12 Point Logistics prides themselves on turning your logistical challenges into streamlined, efficient solutions. At 12 Point Logistics, they buy your problems and deliver the solutions, ensuring your business runs smoothly from start to finish. If you're ready to solve your logistics challenges, you can give Gunnar Miller and his team a call at 423-206-9235. You can also visit them on the web at 12pointlogistics.com. 12 Point Logistics and Transportation, your local freight brokerage and final mile white glove solution. Guys, before we throw it back to you, just a reminder, final score from our Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics game of the week, Rhea County 16, Walker Valley 0.
All right, Jeff, Justin, great job. Great interview with a couple of young men. Victorious tonight, Rhea County over at Walker Valley. We appreciate it. Hit a couple of finals here. Again, redzonescores.com. You can see a full scoreboard there if you're looking at that and saying, wow, a lot of these scores are empty. That's because a lot of those scores aren't happening. A lot of games being played tomorrow and Monday, but the games that are in progress this evening will be updated there and finalized, and you can go take a look at it before we are out of here at 11 o'clock.
We're back here from our Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics game of the week, and if you're just now getting in the car, Rhea County gets the 16-0 victory over Walker Valley, and we're pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Golden Eagles, and that is Taylor Harvey. And Coach, thank you for making the time to come up here and join us. And the rain's starting to come back here, so kind of the way it was tonight, but you guys were able to adjust to that and get a big shutout win as a defensive guy. Definitely. It's got to be a little more sweeter to get a shutout, doesn't it?
For sure. I appreciate you guys being here, man. You guys do a great job giving our kids some love, so that's big. And anytime you hold a team to 0, man, that's awesome. So I'm glad it happened.
I mean, let's just go and get the first question. The obvious question out of the way. Any weird feelings going up against Walker Valley tonight, or was it just hat on hat, another team ready to go?
Yeah, that's what I was. Every interview I've had this week, that gets brought up, but honestly, it just saved us time on Sunday from having to look up the other team's roster and all that, because all the kids,
good point,
the coaches, and kind of what they're wanting to do. But it wasn't It wasn't any different, honestly. It's just a big region game for us. So, and our kids got some goals set, and they were just part of it.
So, Coach, you're basically a couple touchdowns away from being undefeated. You got a big game next week at McMinn. Talk a little bit about the region play, about this big win tonight, and what it's going to take to keep things rolling with McMinn County, and then also the Howard situation. What can cost you there?
Yeah, the Howard deal was awkward. We lost a region game there. Still trying to work on getting it played, but as of right now, still no contest, which kind of puts us behind. It's essentially like we're 0-1 in the region because it doesn't help you. But we got to attack each week and try to win out, and we're in a highly competitive region, man, with Walker and McMinn County, East Ham, Ottawa. Those are some good programs, and they do a great job, and they're well coached, and their kids play hard. So it's going to be tough. But I'm glad we got this one tonight and kind of get started on the right foot. And we're at McMinn next week, and then end with Ottawa, then East Ham. So we still got our hands full for sure.
But even with that could put you behind the eight ball, you still are in good position. If you take care of business like you're doing, to not have to worry about that necessarily, right? So I mean that's definitely a good thing, and that's a good thing to teach the players and kind of remind them. Say, hey, you guys, you pretty much can control what you guys can control, and lay it out on the field for sure.
Yeah, that's what I told our guys afterwards. You had the region champs coming in, you handled that one, so that was big. We control our own destiny from here on out. If we win out, then obviously we'll get to host a playoff game. That'll be huge. If we drop 1 or 2 or whatever, it can, it's going to put us in weird spots. So we control our own destiny, and we need to make sure we handle each week.
Just kind of talk about, we had, Caleb and Chauncey up here right before you came up here. Kind of talk about just those two guys. Obviously, being homecoming, it's kind of a big deal for the seniors, and kind of a good way to kind of put a check mark off their senior wish list type thing. Kind of talk about those two guys and what they mean to your football team.
Yeah, homecoming and stuff. That's such a weird week anyway, with managing emotions with your players and all that stuff. And then on top of that, it was Walker Valley, which is where I was at last, and then with the no school today, it made it even worse. But they handled it well, and it's because of guys like Chauncey and Caleb. They do a great job leading our program. Caleb has been a captain for us every game for a reason. We kind of go as he goes, and he does a great job of getting us lined up, and the right plays called even when I make bad ones. And he does a good job of kind of getting us rolling. And then Chauncey in the backfield's been a horse for us all year. Him and Ford in the backfield have been great. He's a little banged up right now, but I fully expect him to have a huge season, if he can just continue with the path he's on.
Yeah, both Ford and Odum both had touchdown runs tonight, so definitely big contributors there for Ray County. Justin.
Yeah, Coach, I'm curious, when you're going up against a coach that you know so well and he knows you so well, is there a tendency to kind of like say, I know his tendency on third down, but also like, do you have to look at yourself and say, oh, he knows what I do on third down, or kind of talk about the interplay between you, or do you just go out there and coach your game and just know what's going to happen out there?
Yeah, I mean, it's there's a chess match for sure, but that's like that every game. You go through and you overcook everything on film, and all the adjustments that's been made in the last 5 years with us, and I'm sure they were doing the same stuff, but whenever we kind of get out here and put the ball on the tee and get to play, and then you just kind of coach the game how you feel like you're coaching it, and you hope you make the right moves along the way.
This is your first year at Ray County, and you're almost 2 months into the job, full months, and kind of talk about just the adjustment that you've had, coming over here, and kind of you talking about a few things that you guys are wanting to do in the future to kind of continue the upward trajectory of Golden Eagle football.
Yeah, so I mean, it's little stuff that you don't even think about, but it's we purchased a drone this year, which is huge. We didn't get to fly it tonight with the weather, but that's a big expense. And then we're working towards trying to like live stream games, so nights like this, you can still kind of publicize your team and your product a little bit, but the biggest thing, we're always going to try to have a first-class program. We're always going to try to, have the right stuff for our guys and promote our kids the right way. And, everything that we can do to make that happen from this point on, we're going to try to do.
I tell you what, the MVP out here is the guy on the leaf blower cleaning up over across the way there.
Doing a heck of a job. Yeah, shout out some of those. What was the hog pen boys? Is that what we call the offensive line? We got to shout out some of those guys' names and maybe some of those defensive linemen. It was a nasty night.
I'm all in. I'm all in on the Hogs, Coach. I'm all in on the Hogs. Let me hear about it.
Yeah, I mean, it starts up front with our center time. Oh my God, I just went blank.
It happens.
With
number 52 in your
Todd
playbook. Masters, got it.
Jeez.
That's the beauty of the offensive lineman. They probably didn't want you to call their names out.
Yeah,
Usually when you
sure.
call offensive lineman's name, it's a bad thing.
Exactly.
Right?
I mean, you call their names out on film. It's usually never like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Right? So.
And then we're pretty heavy senior loaded on some key spots, but Chase Wilkie at defensive end is an underclassman for us, which is huge. Hayden Futrell at nose, number 75, had a good game tonight. Max Daughtry, 55, our other at the end, had a good game. Several other offensive linemen. Andrew King is a big leader for us, a high academic kid. Man, he does a great job. And, those dudes take every single rep in practice, whether it's scout team, whether it's good on good, no matter what it is, man, they take every single rep. So I'm pumped that they're contributing the way they are, man.
You were listening to Ray County head football coach Taylor Harvey right here on Coca-Cola Red Zone Overtime, powered by 12 Point Logistics right here on Talk 102.3. And you were mentioning, you have some upperclassmen. I'm looking over this roster here. There's a lot of freshmen and sophomores on this roster too. So the future, these guys are buying in early and getting some experience as well, and that could pay dividends in the next couple of years for you guys too.
For sure. Crazy story, man. When I got hired, there was only 29 players working out when I got the job.
Wow.
In a 5A program. So, we did a good job of getting them out of the hallways, and people don't really realize, but there's 3 middle schools that kind of feed here, and we've had a freshman team this year that's had several games. We got a Monday night game against Walker, freshman and JV. So getting them experience and not just being pad holders, that's huge. And our JV program's done well. I think they're 4-1 on the year. So trying to just let them come out and play the game, and it's sparked interest. Now we're up over 70 players, which is huge.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, I'll say it's exciting for me. We got a young coach to cover, and we've seen, Jeff, what Ray County can be. We counted 80-plus players on that sideline. So, yeah, it's just to see the start you've had up here, and just shout out to you, Coach, and the staff that you brought over here and what y'all are doing. And it's fun to watch this Ray County machine rolling when it rolls, I tell you.
Well, Coach, we want to thank you for coming up here and braving the weather and just, giving us a spot up here to kind of keep the equipment and us dry for a little bit. And, congrats on the big win tonight. Again, 16-0 shutout over Walker Valley. And good luck the rest of the way. I'm sure we'll be back covering this team at some point this year.
Thank you, guys, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys, we're going to throw it back to the studio here. But as a reminder, final score from our Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics game of the week, Ray County 16, Walker Valley 0.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you to head coach Taylor Harvey there of the Ray County Golden Eagles. Great stuff. Ray County hard-nosed football team, big win tonight. Thank you to Soddy Daisy Trojan head coach Josh Owensby, who joined us earlier in the show via a phone call we had last night. If you have your coaches, your players get in touch with us. We'd love to put a spotlight on some programs here in the area. That's what it's all about. That's what we love to do here on the Coca-Cola Red Zone.
Justin, we were just kind of reminiscing here when we were in the break just now, just kind of looking over some of the games that were going on tonight and tomorrow. It's going to be a busy, evening and afternoon, or just a day period, and the South Pittsburgh, Marion County Valley area, because you got Sequatchie County going to take on undefeated Coalfield. They got the big win at the Horn last week against Marion County. And you have both Marion and South Pittsburgh playing games at home. And so, hey, I think Marion County is like at 2 o'clock kickoff Eastern, and South Pitt is like at 7 or 8, it's 8 o'clock Eastern kick. So if you got nothing to do tomorrow, go check out the doubleheader there. And, wear the opposite colors to the opposite school and see how many looks and how many times you get cussed out there for sure.
I think it's fun. I tell you, it's a good opportunity. Some of these Thursday games they've had with the ref shortages, and now we get opportunities to watch some football on Saturday. I'm all for it. I'm going to try to get out and look at a game tomorrow, a game or two tomorrow, but definitely some good ones. And
you got Boyd, stays undefeated. Baylor stays undefeated. Northwest Whitfield can stay undefeated with the win tomorrow against Heritage. And, people kind of overlook that just based on Heritage's overall record, right? If you look at the last 4 meetings, all 4 of those games have been decided by less 7 points or less. So a very competitive, series that Northwest Whitfield and Heritage has been on. So I think Northwest gets the win there. I think they move on to stay undefeated, but it would surprise me to see that game go down to the final possession as well. So we'll see what happens there.
Absolutely.
Let's see. I think Towner came back and won, I think is what you said, Justin. So
I saw him trailing in the fourth.
Yeah, it was ended up being a 21-16 victory for the Ram Train on the road.
Yeah, that's a big region win for the Rams and Coach Maynard there. You look at the Rams. They improved to 4-2. They knocked off Brainerd last week. Every loss except for the Red Bank game has been by 8 points or less. So Coach Maynard's squad has been in all these games. It's kind of like Coach Harvey's Ray County Golden Eagles. Their 2 losses. They've had 2 losses on the year, but both of those have been by a touchdown.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most compelling stories from the area, but also a team that I've been on early, my Chat Prep.
Here you go.
Sentinels are rolling. They've got more district wins this season than the entire program has had in its entire run, so I'm really looking forward to that South Pittsburgh matchup and that what will South Pittsburgh Chat Prep kind of triumph that's happening a couple weeks from now. So shout out to Chat Prep, 2-0 in the region, and if they get past this Hickson's probably the toughest game on their schedule before they get into Whitwell and South Pittsburgh. And I'm telling you, those are going to be some barn burners. It'll be fun to see what this young team's got.
After the commercial break here, I think we'll have an idea where we're going for our game of the week next week.
It's going to be a tough pick.
It's going to be a tough decision. So stay tuned for that.
Hope you guys don't work too hard trying to figure that one out.
Mm-hmm. All right,
There's
guys, back to you.
There's some drama. There's
Thanks,
some
Jeff.
tea.
All right, Jeff, Justin, great job. Thank you, as always, for your work. The Jeff Kate, at JL Simsey on Twitter if you want to see their pictures and videos from the games tonight. Let's go back out for a final time to the Center for Sports Medicine Orthopedics Game of the Week, Coca-Cola Red Zone Overtime. Let's put a bow on it, fellas.
Let's do that for sure. And for the final time, our final score from our Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics Game of the Week, Ray County 16 and Walker Valley 0. And Justin Sims, looking ahead to next week, we got, there's a couple of off-the-radar games, right? You got Saudi Daisy and Red Bank, and I guess we'll just go ahead and announce that our Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics Game of the Week next week will be a rematch of the Blue Cross Bowl championship game in Division II AAA as McCallie takes on Baylor over at Haywood Stadium on the campus of Baylor School. So not a too terribly long drive to get over to Baylor and have another edition of the Center for Sports Medicine Orthopedics Game of the Week and Coca-Cola Red Zone Overtime powered by 12 Point Logistics on site next week.
Yeah, we know what that game has meant to this area for the last 5 years. I think both teams have won a championship between them, so another time to see it. And as fun as it was to see that 20,000 plus people at Findlay last season, when we see these two teams on campus, it has a special feel, especially down at that Baylor campus. The drive kind of back in there, the beautiful setup and the way they pack all those folks in there. It's going to be a fun time and going to be a great game. I mean, we're going to have probably 20 plus D1 talent on the field at every level, every grade, and great coaching, great facilities, great support, and it's going to be a great game.
I said this, and this is not going out on a limb here, but I said that these are not just the two premier programs in Chattanooga. These are officially, I'd say, pretty far and away the two premier programs in the state of Tennessee at this point.
Oh, for sure. And, going back to that game last year at Findlay Stadium, I mean, kind of piggyback off of that, Kurt, that Blue Cross Bowl championship game was not only probably the biggest game in the city of Chattanooga, but probably the biggest game in the history of high school football in the state of Tennessee, just based on the fact it was, two rivals in their city playing for a state championship. And, Coach Bradford is going to get his first crack at Baylor as the head coach of the Blue Tornado. And for Coach Eric Kimmery, man, looking to keep things rolling and get back to another state championship game appearance. But, yeah, we'll be there probably fairly early based on how traffic can getting on campus at wherever the game is played. But we're looking forward to being back again. Next week's Center for Sports Medicine Orthopedics Game of the Week will be McCallie taking on Baylor. But again, for the final time, final score here from Bill Horton Field in tonight's edition of the Center for Sports Medicine Orthopedics Game of the Week, Ray County 16 and Walker Valley nothing. Guys, have a great weekend. We'll talk next week.